A pleasant good evening to each and everyone in Georgetown, Guyana, the diaspora and elsewhere. Friends all. Sometimes I think, why am I sitting in front of a camera to speak about Guyana? Since knowing more of the people in the country is acting like if they know everything. But which make me come to the question of what is right and what is wrong. And this go to the lawmakers in Guyana and the so-called people who call themselves politicians, but not leaders. I want to make this fair. I want to ask all Guyanese, the African who came out from slavery as you was emancipated, the Indians who arrive but do not have a day when they are going back home. But I still question, where is the Portuguese or the Chinese? I don't hear they talk about emancipation, their arrival. I'm wondering to know if those are the aliens that they are seeing coming with the UFO, but the Chinese, instead of coming with UFO, they got OUF. Something not right here, ladies and gentlemen. I grew up as a child, learned to be honest, not to covet my brother's property. And yes, that was my teaching of the day in British Guyana. As we may know that Guyana changed its hands from the Spanish time and the Dutch in war, then came the British. And then the Guyana divided in France Guyana, Dutch Guyana, with an agreement with New Amsterdam, at present in Berbice, was given that name from New Amsterdam in New York. New York, according to my information, was once called New Amsterdam in Manhattan. And during the Dutch and the British separation, Guyana was given that name, New Amsterdam, on the Berbice area of the division of Suriname to mark a boundary of a couple of miles away. But I'm not going to get into that. Sometimes I ask if there is a God, and what is justice, and how can we get justice? I am saying on to this day that the 26th of May that just gone, many Guyanese celebrate Independence Day, while the indigenous people, the real native of the country, mourn the death of so many children. And even on to this day, there are words going around, the young woman will be charged by the descendant of their rival great-granddaughter because they are calling for murder charge. You know, I want to know what is right and what is wrong. I call upon the DPP, in respect to you, give up the Holy Quran, and I think your husband should do the same. Because y'all are keeping fast and calling on Allah, calling on Muhammad, but y'all are hypocrites yourself. Y'all are the people that Prophet Muhammad fought against, man. You hold an office called the DPP, where you say who will get jail and who will get killed and whatever. That power was given unto you, a woman who may have given birth to 2 or 3 children, to call for murder charge for the young Amerindian woman in her own bloody country when you came from India and demand the rights of a rival. But yet, when the European, as the white man was in India, our ancestors said, Bakra, get out. And you were killing them, and they were killing back, and they get out. Even the Portuguese in Goa. But you, the descendant of the same Indian ancestors who drove the white man out of India, demanding a country and call it Abi Guyana and one Guyana. My friend, if it is one thing I hate in this world, is a hypocrite. We are all make mistakes. Let me make it clear to my Indian brothers and sisters, relatives and friends. India are independent. That belong to Indians. And therefore, that is where we all belong, if so be the case. But if we mix, we cannot be in India. And since it was divided because of religion, Hinduism versus Islam, to get Pakistan, whatever stand, but it looked like you, Indian, cannot understand. But I want you all to analyze it. DPP, I want you all to understand it, politician. All of you are committing a crime against the indigenous people and the mixed race who born in Guyana and cannot claim Mother India, Mother Africa, China, nor Europe. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm retarded, but I'm not on drugs. I don't thief. The Holy Quran, there's a verse that stated from like the Bible, thou shalt not covet thy brother's property. But we agree to covet it and call it abion. May Allah strike the blood and the death of all you hypocrites. Wicked, treacherous, covetous, parasite mongers. And I hope Prophet Muhammad can come back quick to put an end to this. Because you Muslim in Guyana, to hold an office like the DPP and wanted to charge a woman, a young girl, 13 or 14 years of age, that was locked up in a dorm as a semi-prison with no security outfit, no bathroom for them to bathe, like I'm saying. And I will say less, but I'm going to use it because you all don't know the English language good. Bathing in the yard, 13-year girl. And you all want to protect the innocent, and I respect that. Don't get me wrong. But how many Indian men didn't have sex with their underage daughter? Well, I want Mr. Ali, the president of Guyana, to make law. If a man has sex with an underage girl, he must be executed. And if she accuse him wrongfully, and it is proven that her parents and others encourage her to accuse a man, they themselves must be executed. Y'all talking about law, we want to get down to law now. Because we can get to the reason why I'm so bitter over this. As an Indian, you claim you are civilized. You claim you're honest. But you are worse than the pirates that rob the ships in the ocean and take the jewel to England. And the queen, the deceased queen, the late great-grandmother, knight the thief and call it Sir Walter. Imagine a thief is being given sir by the British queen, the late. My friends, sometimes I ask what is right and what is wrong. Then you, the black race, you claim that the European, the white man slave you. The white man take you out of Africa. He take your resources. And yes, he made a mistake. He should have leave you all there. I wouldn't have born neither in Guyana because you got your blood in me, like the Indians. Because they came as cheap labor. But today, who benefit from it? Many of you are black singers, actors, actresses, and I'm repeating it for a reason. Y'all are doctors and scientists and pilots, some of the greatest musicians out of Africa because of slavery. But you blame the white man for slavery, but you did not blame the Arab who was slaving and buying and selling slaves, and you didn't blame Abraham, and I can give you the four-letter word, to have sex with his slave. Where the hell did that old bastard get a slave from? Then we have to ask Bhagwan, Allah, God, how could he allow such a thing, but yet in the righteous book, thou shalt not commit adultery. What tree did Mr. Abraham commit? A bright one? He turned the light on? Hypocrites. It's a lot of mistreatment And we will teach the wrong things. Use your mind if you believe in God Almighty. It was not the Amerindian, the indigenous, that brought you to the shore of Guyana, the Caribbean, and elsewhere. It was the European, as you call them, slave master. Who benefit from it? Some of you are some of the greatest cricketers, football players. Some of the greatest thing, by the way, making millions and billions. How would like y'all return that back to the European and go back to any part of Africa? It is too late, because the Africans there is not responsible. It was your ancestors who were fighting war because of tribal affair and was captured. And those people in the day were wise enough to exchange you for whatever gift it was that brought you to the Caribbean and elsewhere. Brazil got the largest amount. I am tired hearing the white man's slavery. Go back into Egypt. Find out who was with the Pharaoh and who was Pharaoh. Find out who was Nefertiti. Find out who was Queen of Sheba. Before you open up your mouth and talk trash, get your act together. The historian lie to destroy and divide and keep you down. Black people were some of the greatest kings in Africa. Plus the exploiters, raping and killing was out of the day. The Caesar advisors was a black man, or an African descendant, may I say. But I want to give you straight talk. Friends, you all read your history book. That's why I wasn't a bright scholar in school. I followed the teaching of the mighty Sparrow with the song, if he was bright, he would have said, courage, jump over the moon. He would have been a black-headed fool. Don't blame me. Open up your eyes to the truth and your ears. You was misled like the Indian. You met a nation there called indigenous people. We call them Bokman and Bokwoman. Many of you must understand the historical thing that happened in that. Because the European was slaves, the Chinese were slaves, and the Indians also were slaves, as much as you, our black brothers and sisters. And today, 1.9 or 0.8 million African children are slaves in the cocoa plantation in Africa. Many of your African politicians are enslaving the young girls and having sex with them. Going to Paris, going out about now, they're going to Dubai with them. Because these politicians make laws to protect themselves. They are not leaders, they are politicians. There is a difference between politicians and leaders. And you have to understand where it come about. You vote for them. You put them in, and they make laws to deny you your rights. How can Indian and black people want to prosecute an indigenous girl or woman or man in that country when Mother India is there and Mother Africa? Tell me, if Allah, Bhagwan, or God allow you black people and Indians from Guyana into the heaven, and y'all get little power, y'all might jail the angels. Angel Gabriel might go to jail because he shouldn't give Muhammad a message, tell him to read, and he couldn't read. Tell him write, he said he couldn't write. And suddenly he write a book called the Quran, and they're watching, they're condemning the things I'm talking about. Come on, Ali. Don't be a hypocrite here. You are doing better than the rest, but open up your eyes beyond. No foreigner should have come to Guyana and get concession and land before the indigenous people. They was given a portion in their own country and burn them, take it away. It's alleged. Now comes the PPP. Oh my, account information man who should know that his son was working for them. It's alleged again. They throw cyanide in the water, Amerindians lose their life. Nobody said nothing because they're in the bush. Then some Indian family and black said to me, what the white man do with the Indian in America? So that means you have a right to do that to them. Isn't it? But you won't go to heaven. Satan got to watch he bled himself in hell if y'all go there and control that fire. Let me tell you all something. That is why the devil is forever and God is forever. How many leaders have came, messengers, and we killed them? It is time for we to stop talking about slavery, emancipation, and their arrival, and talk about humanity, and to put Guyana forward and open up the door back to Mother Africa and bring the young Africans and the family and give them a chance. And the Indians too, but make your law. No child mother and child father, husband and wife. No Abraham that he will want to have sex with his slave as his servant. A servant is a slave, only that we are paid half a bit and a half, and 2 bit. So where are all you imam, pandit, and priests, you bloody hypocrites? I am a priest. My church is open here, not a building. Did any one of them priests, pandit, or meiji take a poor woman and child into their house to live? You mind dogs and cats. You shake hands with hypocrites and support them to lead because you're getting 10%. When the Lord ready for y'all, man, I want to sit there to see. So I'm calling upon you, Mr. Ali. Make sure every Guyanese and make your law. Ban emancipation. Ban the day of arrival. Declare a day, a holiday for the late Walter Rodney, the true sons of the African descendant that was born in British Guyana and wrote a book and many more, how Europe underdeveloped Africa. You see the difference of education, Mr. Ali? He didn't say white man, because if you say white man, black man, coolie man, Chinese man, you're discriminating against nationality and color. You are not discriminating against man. God make man in his own image and likeness. You are doing good. Keep on doing it. Some people told me, whole of Mackenzie wearing red. I said, that's not surprised. The crowd is so big, they said that is the first time they see after the late Walter Rodney, such a big crowd. Ask Abnu about the meeting at the market in Georgetown. The crowd, he had him, the stoplight was working, but nobody was moving, they were listening. When the Honorable George Correa, and I say Honorable, not Mr. Rebel, was speaking, when all race gathered together, what did David Granger do? Instead of taking them out of danger, he put them in danger. They still didn't get a house, squatters, renters, hoes and thieves all over the country. Today, we are using the Spanish and the Brazilian woman in the country to prostitute. And we are talking about God, Ali, make your law. Give people land to build house. The citizen come first, like Gaddafi says. His family or his parents should be Libyan, get one. But I know you can't do that. But do it now and see every Guyanese get land and money to build a house. And for Priya Manichan, I have to congratulate you for the mission of the $200 US, which is $40,000 you give it for every child because cost of living is too much. And I think every 3 months they should get at least 150,000 Guyana dollars because they are school children, the future leaders. But the most important thing, all Guyanese should get first preference, and the Amerindian especially, because if they turn to Brazil or Venezuela, America will not help you because America gets what America wants. So Britain is responsible. As the law book says in Guyana, he who receives stolen property is worse than the man who stole it. So all you parliamentarians that making that law need to be arrested and charged for receiving stolen property. I rest my case in the name of Allah, Bhagwan, and God. Let's unite for a better Guyana. Thank you, and I am your host, George Correa. Please subscribe. Thank you.